We're here at the Florida Museum of Natural History, and I'm here with Darcy McMahon, the exhibits director. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the museum?
Well, the museum goes way back to the 1890s, long before the Gator football team was established.
So you're older than the Gator football?
Older than the Go Gator football team. We were in Lake City at the time, and a biologist started to collect specimens into a museum collection. And then that grew until we moved to the university campus in Gainesville in 1906. And at that point, we opened to the public with the specimens that we had on display, and we've been open ever since.
Wow. So how long have you been in this facility?
We opened here in 1997, and we also still have the other museum on campus where we store all of our scientific specimens, and our whole research staff is over there.
Okay, well, they have 4 permanent exhibits here at the museum. We're going to go take a look at them. Come on.
We are in the South Florida Hall, which is one of our permanent exhibitions, and specifically we're in a mangrove forest.
Okay.
This is supposed to convey the idea, the whole exhibit, that estuaries on Florida's coastlines are really important ecosystems. They've in fact supported people in Florida for many thousands of years, including us today. From our experience in museums, that these kind of immersion environments are really popular with visitors, and indeed our visitors come back frequently to see the immersion exhibits here at the museum.
Okay, so now we've visited South Florida. Where are we going to next?
Well, why don't we stroll on over to North Florida? We're in our Northwest Florida Hall, which is about the Panhandle part of the state.
Okay.
And the Panhandle is the most incredibly rich, biodiverse part of our state. So we follow the story of biodiversity, and we also talk about the flow of water and the importance of water in shaping Florida ecosystems. So visitors here at the museum can walk into this cave and experience what it's like to be in one of Florida's dry caves, and then also learn the story about the underwater caves and the rest of Florida's panhandle ecosystems that are shaped by water.
Yeah, you mentioned walking into the cave. There's a lot of interactive functions in the exhibits themselves, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of environments that you can walk through, like the cave, but also a lot of hands-on activities for kids and families to enjoy together.
We're here with Jeff Hansen, the assistant manager of the Butterfly Rainforest. Jeff, why don't you tell us what people can expect when they come to the rainforest?
Well, there's a lot of things to see in here. There's above and beyond the wonderful butterflies, we do have some birds in here. We have interesting creatures in the pond as well, fish and turtles. The butterflies come to us shipped in boxes in the mail, and we receive them in our lab. And once the butterflies have emerged from their chrysalis, then we bring them out here. So that's what it takes to maintain the population out here, because we don't want them to reproduce out here for many reasons. And in order for us to do that correctly, we have to omit their host plants. Every species of butterfly has particular plants that they'll lay their eggs on. If you take those out of the picture, they won't lay their eggs.
So that's how you control the population.
Now, even though the butterflies are free to fly, they're free to mate, they just will not lay their eggs.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Jeff. Do you have any idea where I'm off to next?
Sure, my favorite hall in here is the Fossil Hall.
We're here with Doug Noble, head of exhibits and
Public programs.
Oh, thanks, Doug.
Okay.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the fossils?
Well, this is one of our permanent exhibitions halls. We refer to it as the Fossil Hall. The story really begins in the hall, and it's a Florida story. These are all Florida fossils. And it begins about 55 million years ago in an epoch of geologic time known as the Eocene. But as time passes, beginning with the Oligocene epoch, which is started about a mere 34 million years ago.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, well, I was alive then, so I remember it well. At that period of time, land actually emerged as the seas retreated. And so for the first time in the history of Florida, there were land animals. Like a lot of fossil exhibits and museums everywhere, you do this sort of march through time from the 55 million years ago right up to the present. We're open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sunday afternoons from 1 to 5. So we're pretty much available all year. We close for a couple of holidays. These exhibits, like this fossil hall and North Florida Hall and the South Florida Hall are free of charge to the public. So it's really nice to have this amenity in the community and something to do where you don't have to shell out money. But we do have to charge for our temporary exhibit program. And then also we have a butterfly rainforest, fantastic immersion experience, flying 1,500 to 2,000 butterflies at any given time.
All right, well, how do we get a hold of you, Doug?
Well, you can call the museum at area code 352-846-2000, or you can Google, the simplest way to do it, Florida Museum of Natural History. And we've got a wonderful site. We get 12 million visits a year, and there's not only just about the public dimension of the museum, but all of the wonderful research that goes on and our vast collections, 28 million scientific objects and specimens.
Wow, 28 million. Now you can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. So why don't you just bring the whole family down and check out the exhibits?